Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Oh my god, I said that's so weird. Channel. Okay, cool. But today I did this makeup look using the Huda Beauty new Nude palette, and I tested a few new products. So if you want to see how I did it, then keep watching. Okay, I just moisturized my face. I did my skincare earlier, but I went out to a few stores before I came down to film, so I wanted to just re-moisturize. I used the Philosophy Purity oil-free mattifying moisturizer. It's the little sample, but I kept it in my little fridge right there, so it was a little bit cooling, which felt really nice. And now we're gonna prep the eyes for shadow. I'm going to use concealer. The concealer I'm gonna use is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Antioxidant Concealer in the shade Fair. Now, I used to use this, I think over the summer it was that I was using this a lot. I love this concealer. I also love the foundation, which is why I wanted to do this video. This is the foundation that I used along with it. It's just the matching foundation, the Photo Ready Candid Natural Finish Anti-Pollution Foundation. I have the shade 110 Porcelain, but the reason I'm going to be doing the concealer here is because I recently got the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Glow Foundation. It's their Moisturized Glow Anti-Pollution Foundation, and I got the shade 110 Porcelain. That was a lot of rambling, but I wanted to try this out today, and I also got the matching powder, which we'll use to set the eyes down. This is the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Anti-Pollution Setting Powder in the shade 1. I think it's just translucent. But yeah, so I wanted to try these because I got the foundation, the new foundation, the glow one, and the powder. So I whipped out the concealer so we can keep it all the same. So I'm just going, oh my god, I forgot it has a wand. I think I remember liking the foundation better than the concealer, but we're gonna use the concealer anyway. I'm taking it on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna use the It Cosmetics number 212 Essential Concealer Brush. I'm just going to prep my eyes with this. I have a few new products that I want to use today. I've been doing a lot of makeup shopping at Ulta, Target, and CVS. So actually, I think all the products that I got to try out today were from either Target or CVS, but a few might be from Ulta. But yeah, that's where I got these products. If you want to try them out, you can also order straight from the brand's website. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish prepping my eyes. The look we're gonna do today is really simple. I'm just gonna take my damp e.l.f. sponge. It's actually not that damp anymore because I cleaned it and got it wet when I did my skincare about an hour ago. So yeah, but it's still soft, which is good. You don't want it to be too wet. So yeah, now that we have the concealer laid down, I'm just going to set it really quick with the powder. We're obviously not going to see how the powder really works just based on our eyes, so we're also going to apply it to our face. But yeah, this is just the Revlon one that I mentioned before, and I'll have everything linked down below. So it has a little protective seal on it. Oh no, you just lift there's a protective covering, lift it off. I'm gonna dump some in the cap. Oh, oopsie. It looks like it has a slight pink tone to it. I don't know if I'm just actually maybe not, I don't know. But I'm just gonna take a big fluffy brush. It's the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH30 brush. It's a big fluffy blending brush. And I'm just going to set that concealer down in place. And now we can get on into the look. So the palette we're gonna be using today is the Huda Beauty Nude palette. I think I've done a video using this. I don't know if I've done a video or not. But yeah, I wanted to reach into this again because in my eyeshadow palette tag, I mentioned it. I think this is the most expensive palette I own. and I just wanted to use it again because it's so pretty. So we're gonna do a pretty light look, nothing crazy. I'm gonna take an e.l.f. blending brush, and I'm gonna take the shade Secret right here. And I'm going to blend this all in my crease. It's not like too crazy in your face where it's hard to blend out. It's like the perfect amount of pigmentation for a transition shade, in my opinion. I'm just kind of like dragging the shadow out this way. So now that we have this base down, we're just going to blend the edges a little bit, and we're going to clean it up, so don't worry about that. I'm going to take another e.l.f. blending brush that has, like, it's a different one than the one I just used, and I'm going to take the shade Play right here, which is a more like nude shade than a pink. And we're just going to blend this along the edges to blend it out a little bit. It's also a little bit peachy, the shade. And I'm kind of bringing it up like into my brow area, as you can see. Then I'm going to take some of the shade Teddy on my Morphe M433 brush. It's a little bit smaller than the e.l.f. blending brushes we were just using. And this shade here, it's more of like a brown shade. Secret was more like a pink cool tone shade, and Teddy is definitely a lot more warm. And I'm just going to place this on my outer corner and in my crease to help deepen it up and warm it up a little bit. Now all these shadows blend really nicely together. And then I'm going to go back in a little bit with Play, which is that lighter shade, and just go in and blend the edges again. And obviously I'm going to clean this up. Now we're going to cut the crease, so I'm going to use the same concealer that I used before and just place it on the back of my hand again. And I'm going to take a small brush. This is the Real Techniques Detailer brush, and it's really tiny, and I'm going to just load the brush up with concealer and pull my mirror a little bit closer. And I'm going to do a half cut crease, so I'm going to stop it about right here. I'm just going to make a little line and look up so I see where I need to cut it. It's a little bit high, but whatever. So here we have the half cut crease, and I just used my finger to blend the edges a little bit, and I'm going to do the other eye now. So both cut creases are done. They're a little bit uneven. Now we can apply a shimmer shade. The shade I'm going to use is Crave. It's the lightest one of those like really cool shimmer ones, and I'm using the Luxie 245 small shader brush. It's basically a little bit bigger than the one we just used, but I'm going to take some of that on my brush, and I think I'm going to wet it with my Patrick Ta Major Glow Dewy Milk Mist in She's Thirsty. I'm just going to spray my brush a little bit with this, and I'm just going to apply this right over the concealer. See, it's so pretty. So there's the one eye. This actually looks so pretty. I'm obsessed with it. Now I'm going to take my e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush, and it's like just a more dense shader brush, and I'm going to take the shade Raw, which is a deeper warm shade, and we're going to start to blend the edges of that shimmer shade and deepening up the outer corner. I'm going back in with whatever's left on that shimmer brush and just blend the edges again. And then I'm going to take the first brush we used with that Secret shade, the very first shade we used, and just blend these edges so they're not as harsh. And we also just lost the shade a little bit, so I wanted to add it back. I look crazy right now with all this shadow here. You can definitely avoid this if you like to do your face first. You can definitely avoid this. I'm just like not tapping off my brush as much, and I like to be a little bit messy with my eyeshadow so then I can just clean it up and it looks a lot better. I'm just going to deepen up this side a little bit because I feel like it needs a little more. So I just cleaned up the edges with a makeup wipe. I'm just using my finger to tap the edges so it's not as harsh. And now we can do foundation. So I'm going to try the new one that I have here. I just have to take the plastic off. I love the packaging on it. It's very similar to the other one. It's actually the exact same packaging, just the glow one has a more like reflective packaging on it. So I'm just going to pump one pump in the back of my hand. We'll see how that is. My skin isn't awful right now, so besides like a few little blemishes, but yeah, so I'm not going to use too much. I'm going to use a brush though. I'm going to use this Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH03 brush. It's a flat top foundation brush, and I'm just going to start applying this to my face. I don't use too much foundation, so I'm really going to be looking at the finish and not so much the coverage, because you could see like I use barely any because I like my skin to show through, and then I just like to like spot conceal my spots almost. The shade is great though. It's the lightest one that I could find. I'm pretty sure it's the lightest shade. Just taking whatever's left and going down my neck a little bit. Yeah, the shade is great. It just evens everything out. And the finish, you can see a slight dewiness. I'm sure if I added a little bit more, you would see it more. But I just wanted to try it out for right now. So yeah, now we can apply some concealer. And I'm again applying it to the back of my hand. And I'm going to take that brush that we used earlier when we prepped our eyes. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this like right here and blend it out under my eyes. I'm bringing it like against the sides of my nose. We're not going to cream contour today. We're going to keep the skin with not too many products. I mean, it's still a lot of products, but less than I usually do. So I'm just being careful around the edges of the eyeshadow. I'm applying some to my chin. And we're gonna go in with our sponge after to make sure there's no brush streaks. I'm going on my upper lip and around my nose. A little bit in the center of my forehead and my eyebrows. And then I'm gonna take whatever's left and go over these blemishes here and kind of pat it in with my finger and this one up here. Yeah, everything else I don't mind if it shows through. So I'm gonna go in with my sponge and just pat everything to make sure that it's all good. So it still looks like my skin, but it's a little bit more evened out, which I really like. So we're gonna finish up the eyes here. I'm going to take this Juno & Co. like little small brush and the shade Teddy. And I'm just gonna bring this across my entire lower lash line. And you can see when I cleaned up the shadow, I didn't go right against my lower lash line, so the shadow can just continue. And I'm just gonna take the first brush we used with no additional shadow and just blend the edges a little bit. I'm really liking the way this is looking. I'm gonna take a pencil brush. This one is from Morphe. And I'm gonna take the shade Bare, which is just the light shade in the palette, and I'm going to highlight my inner corner and my brow bone with this. And then that's it for the palette. I'm gonna go in with my Tati palette though, just for a black eyeshadow because there's no black in that palette, but you can use any shadow. And I'm taking the Memory Matte shade right here and this this angled eyeliner brush. It's from the brand Eye on Beauty. You can see that right there. I got it like so long ago from like TJ Maxx years ago, but just any angled brush. And I'm just gonna do like a shadow liner with this, no wing, but I'm just going to apply it across my lash line to add some definition. Being very careful because this shadow is really pigmented. And I'm using less and less as I get closer to my inner corner and kind of just smoking it out. Like that, so you can see it adds a little bit of definition there. So now I'm gonna go do my lashes. I'm gonna go off camera and do that, but I'm gonna come back to show you my lower lash mascara because I bought this at Target. It's the Pixie Lower Lash Mascara, and it's super tiny, so I want to try it on camera with you and see how it works. And I just dropped my powder everywhere. So yeah, I'm going to go do my top mascara and curl my lashes. Okay, so I'm back. I did about 1.5 coats of the L'Oreal Air Volume Mega Mascara on my top lashes, and now we're going to try the Pixie one. This was $11 at Target, and it's so cute and little. And this is what the wand looks like. So it's even smaller than the L'Oreal Telescopic, which is so cool to me. So yeah, I'm just gonna start. You can really get in there and just separate the lower lashes without it getting too clumpy, because sometimes when you go in with a big applicator, it can get too smudgy and stuff. I personally don't like a really like spiky lower lash line. I just like my lashes to look like feathered out and stuff. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think it separated them really nicely. I think they look good. So, okay, cool. Now we can bronze. I'm going to take the Benefit Hoola Light Bronzer. And I'm going to use my BH Cosmetics 124 like rounder brush. And to start bronzing the face. I didn't use face powder yet. I don't really think I need to. Like, I feel like my face, like, I mean, I didn't really apply a lot of foundation and concealer, but I really feel like I don't need it, but I'm gonna apply a little bit just so I can like clean up the bronzer a little bit, but I'm really not gonna apply a lot. I'm really liking the way this is looking. The eyes might, like, they're a little bit heavy for like the very minimal face makeup that I'm wearing, but I still think it looks pretty. Like, I think the eyes would look better with a really, like, full beat, but I still think it looks pretty good. I'm going to take the Morphe E62 and just contour my nose. So we're all bronzed and contoured. Now we can go in with the powder. I'm just going to apply a little bit with my sponge against my nose to clean up the contour a little bit, but I'm not gonna bring it under my eye like I usually do. I really like this minimal base too because you can see my freckles. I'm taking my Morphe sponge with this really sharp edge, and I'm just gonna try to get a straight line down the center of my nose. It's pretty straight, whatever, it's fine. And I'm gonna take more of the powder with my sponge and just clean up the contour on my cheeks. Not even contour, just bronzer. Like that, and just patting in the rest. And I'm gonna take a little bit with that brush we use when we set our eyes, and I'm just gonna apply it to the center of my forehead and a little bit under my eyes, just so they're lightly set. I'm really liking the way this is looking. Now we can do blush. I'm going to use a new blush to me. Well, I have it in other shades, but this is a new shade. Sorry, the powder wouldn't close. This is the Revlon powder blush. This one is in the shade Ravishing Rose. I have the shades Marvelous and Rosy Rendezvous right here. But this is the new one that I'm going to be using today is in Ravishing Rose. So it's more of a bright pink than the other ones, but it has a little bit of sheen to it, a little more corally. So yeah, I'm gonna try it out, and I don't know what brush I'm going to use. Well, first off, I can't even open it. So I'm gonna go in with the blush. This is the SL Miss Glam Madison Miller MO3 Tapered Blush Brush. And I'm just gonna take some of that on my brush and apply it to my cheeks. It's really pigmented. I'm applying it over my nose as well, and a little bit to my forehead to give that nice sunburnt look. I'm gonna take this Morphe E48 brush that has a little bit of powder left on it from another time that I did my makeup, and just run over basically the entire face and over the blush to blend it and cool it down a little bit. I think that looks good. I'm gonna set my face and then we're gonna do some highlighter. I'm gonna use the Patrick Ta one, just so it has a little bit of something to stick to. And I'm gonna take the MAC Soft and Gentle Mineralized Skin Finish. I haven't used this in a long time. And I'm gonna take this little fan brush. It's actually from a nail kit, so that I don't have the brand. But I'm just gonna take some of that on the brush and apply it to the high points of my cheeks. You really don't need a lot. We're gonna blend this out after. I'm just gonna kind of like fan it up by the shadow and a little bit on the sides of our forehead and our chin. My chin is a little bit dry right now, so the foundation is breaking up a little bit, but that's not the foundation's fault, it's my skin, and a little bit around my nose. So yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit to the tip of my nose and the bridge. I'm gonna just take my sponge and really blend that out. And then to make it a little bit less like sparkly and more like a sheen, I'm gonna add the L'Oreal True Match Illumi Glotion Natural Glow Enhancer in the shade Light Glow on top. So I'm gonna add a little bit to my hand, and it just exploded everywhere, almost got over my sweater, which is actually my mom's sweater, so thanks Mom for letting me wear it. But I'm just going to blend it a little bit on my finger and then take my sponge and just tap over the cheekbone. So you can see now it's more of a sheen than just like a stripe of shimmer. Adding it to the sides of my forehead as well. So now basically everything is done. We're just going to do the lips. So I'm going to take my Patrick Ta Precision Lip Crayon in the shade She's Bold. It's like a more brown shade, and I'm just gonna push it up a little bit and line my lip. So I just lined the lips and I blended the edges a little bit with my finger so it wasn't as harsh. And now I'm gonna try a new lipstick to me. I got this at Target. This is the e.l.f. Seriously Satin lipstick in the shade Nectar. I think it's more of like a peachy shade, but I'm hoping it's gonna make this look not as brown, although the brown does look pretty. But this is what it looks like. It's clear packaging, and I'm just gonna twist it up and apply it. Okay, so I just applied that, and then I went over the edges with the lip liner again just to kind of blend them together. It's definitely pretty. It's a little bit too orangey peachy though for this look, I think. So we're gonna add this gloss on top. This is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Silk, so it'll bring in a little bit of that pink, I think. And I'm just going to add this on top. go do my brows off camera. I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution soap styler just because that takes a little bit. So I'm going to go do that off camera and come back for the outro. So this is the finished look. I applied the soap styler to my brows, and then to this brow right on the end, I just applied the Glossier Brow Flick in the shade Brown, just so they could look a little bit more even on the ends. And yeah, that's the video and the look complete. I hope you enjoyed it and liked the look and the palette. And yeah, thumbs it up, comment, do all the things. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.